Welcome back to The Art of Hobbiness. I'm Erin Tam, my lovely co-host Tam. And today, we talk a lot about hobbies, of course. That's why we're here and how they bring us happiness. But I feel like most of our hobbies we talk about are like we plan for them, we get the supplies, we do all these things to prepare, and then we talk about it, right? Right. So today I want to kind of switch it up a little bit, and I was inspired by one of our friends, Sidra.
Yes.
So recently you went over to her house, and her daughter wanted to make like something. You can tell that in a second, right? And so it inspired me to think about, wow, like I started reflecting on how I'm so much more open to just trying new things since we started this journey. And we kind of wanted to talk about that. Like, so I was kind of thinking about like spontaneous hobbies and creativity and curiosity and how those all tie together. So tell us first, what was your recent spontaneous hobby that you did?
Yes. So you're right. Definitely recently was at Sidra's house. Yep. And her daughter wanted chocolate covered quinoa. And neither one of us really knew what to do or how to make it. I mean, she had quinoa and she had chocolate, so we're like, that seems like the right thing.
Sure. Like cooked quinoa, or
so she had the quinoa. It wasn't cooked, but then we put it on a pan and it was supposed to pop to kind of like puff.
Oh.
But neither one of us knew what that would look like.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be like a popcorn situation where it's like puffs into like this big thing, or if it's going to be just like, it browns.
Yeah.
Right. And I have no kitchen expertise.
Right,
so
right.
I literally had
You're just along for the ride.
The only thing I was able to offer to her was emotional support.
Yeah.
But I was there for it. So yeah, we got it on there. A couple of them popped out of there. Nothing really got poofy.
Okay.
Then we melted some chocolate. It took a couple tries on that because the first one we forgot to use like a sweetened chocolate, so it was kind of bitter the first time, which I actually kind of liked.
Yeah.
And then we got some milk chocolate. That was successful. Poured it onto the quinoa, and I think we got like 6 little quinoa.
Okay. Were they good? Or
I actually thought they were really great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely like, if we were rating on a scale like beauty-wise, it was like a 1. But it actually was pretty good. It had like a nice like little like toasty flavor to it. Nice. And I love my chocolate, so it was pretty good. But I think it perfectly fits the definition of what you're trying to describe as a spontaneous hobby.
Yeah.
Which is just going with the flow. Right?
Basically.
Well, and you're right. Like, as millennial moms, we constantly are like, we're over preppers. And like, even whenever we're going to do hobbies, like you talked about how like we go and we buy all the supplies and we're going to be like totally prepped and ready for it. Well, what about just embracing the times where you're like, I just feel like hobbying. Do I have any supplies? Let's see. And then just going for it.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think that it's like a perfect for our times in our lives when we're so busy, and like just to take off the pressure, right? And like not worrying about being perfect or making it a whole thing and just going for it. I was thinking a lot about when I was reflecting on this about like how kids do this all the time. Like that is like their hobby world. I mean, everything they do is like creative play, right? I was telling like this morning right before I left, I was like, this is a perfect example I have to share. My kids were like looking at a book. My son was looking at a book about American Indians, and it was a whole thing about making an axe. And I was like, well, we can't melt metal today. Sorry, son. But anyway, or like he wanted to do some like
metalwork.
Yeah, metalwork. I was like, well, I'm not getting out a flame for you. But and so but anyway, he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go get some aluminum foil and I'm gonna create this thing and make this spear. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. Like, go do that.
That's brilliant.
And like he got to work and got out aluminum foil. I don't know how it turned out because I left. But I was like, gosh, like why do we lose that as an adult? Like. And I think having kids, like we do get to see, I don't know about you, but it kind of has pulled that out of me again a little bit,
absolutely.
Brings the kid out in you. But it makes you feel so good when you do those things, like no pressure, no expectations. You don't even have time to think about it. And it just brings you some like that little pocket of joy for that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that. Yeah.
That's such a good point. I didn't even think about kids do this all the time until you said it. And it's so funny that we talk all the time about trying to set an example for our kids in the hobby arena so that it goes down to them. But we could also learn from watching them, and they're just embrace an idea and just run with it. Like, your son, no prep work, nothing. He was just like, I'm making an axe. You're not going to let me melt some metal? All right. I know something else that's shiny and kind of reflective. Aluminum foil. brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, and just ran with it and made like a hobby moment, which I'm sure probably gave him like lots of like internal energy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Was he like,
was super excited. Oh, yeah. And he got his brother involved, and they were both like getting excited about how they were going to go hunting with these. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, let's see what happens. But,
I need you to tell me what kind of like trophies they obtained.
They probably, after I left, had a meltdown because they realized it wasn't going to work. But,
yeah.
No, but it made me think about just like, why do we lose that, that spontaneity as we get older? I think it's partly just because we get so busy and we lose that creativity. So,
well, I think that, and then I think it goes back to like we talk about how, as millennial women, we put so much value on like our time, right? Like it has to be productive. It has to show something. And so the idea of not being prepared, what?
Right, true. And not having control.
Right, not having absolute control over everything, forget about it, right? And like the idea of not having, the ability to 100% have it ready for success, right? Because I feel like anything that I worked on when I was in like my perfectionism, chapter, it was, unless I knew I was going to be at least 90% successful in it, I probably wasn't even going to give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody would have approached me with an idea, if I was like, didn't have the supplies, didn't have like already kind of a background knowledge of it, I probably was going to be like, we don't got time for that.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Who said we don't have time for that? I did?
Yeah.
I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
Why did I say that? You know what I mean? And so I think that spontaneity of just running with an idea, like if you're just sitting on your couch and you're just like, I feel like making something colorful. What do I have? Markers? I have some paper. I don't have coloring sheets, but I got paper. Why don't I just draw my own thing and then color it?
That's right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Spontaneous hobby.
Yeah. Or I think a lot of people do this in the kitchen. Or I mean, if you have any sort of interest in that,
I hear bakers and such do that. I don't know.
But they're like, oh, I kind of want to try this thing and just go and try to figure it out, right?
Oh yeah, Pat's done that several times in the kitchen. Where like I'll just be like, we always call it chopped kitchen. I'm like, I want a home cooked meal, but I don't want to go grocery shopping. Like, just find something in the pantry and go for it. And he loves that.
That's amazing.
It gets him so excited, and it's usually my idea. He's probably like actually doing something, like worth his own hobby, and I'm like, no, stop your hobby for me now.
You're my personal chef.
Right,
Thank you.
exactly. But he's so good about embracing that spontaneous hobby. My kids are good at it.
Yeah,
I should embrace that more.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I feel like we do more now, right? Than we used to, for sure. And I mean, I guess like I almost want to argue that spontaneous hobbies might be better than planned out hobbies, and like in this aspect of bringing you joy, right?
I can see that, because I mean, there's got to be a lot of like, if you embrace and like run with that yes man mentality in doing a hobby, and then it comes out like a raging success. Yeah, I bet that feels pretty good. Yeah, and I feel like that gives you like a high that would just build your confidence, right? Because I think that's what a lot of like us millennial women avoid doing new things for, because we overthink. We overthink, and there's self-sabotage there, and then if we're not good at it, like it hurts our confidence, right?
But if you have no expectations,
any win in that scenario is a confidence booster. And if you do enough of those, you just start to feel that kind of helps you work through that whole like getting over the fear of trying something new, right? You get more comfortable being in that awkward zone, and being comfortable being in that zone where you don't have control, which can really play into other aspects of your life.
And we talked about that in previous episodes about how when you build that muscle for creativity and what you're saying, like getting rid of the perfectionism and stuff, like it does translate to other areas of your life.
Absolutely.
So highly recommend spontaneous hobbies. Think about, like, I guess when you're going through your day, if anything, I don't know, it is about like being open to listening to your intuition too, right? And your energy. And if you see the opportunity, like take a second to be like, instead of, I feel like I used to be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Right. Like immediate, like not even think, no processing, no, like I'm just not gonna do it. Just allowing yourself to be like, all right, well, maybe let's try it. Yeah, let's just try it today.
Absolutely.
See what happens.
I think it's a great tip. Yeah. Highly recommend as well.
Yeah.
Good job, Erin.
Thanks. No, I just. So yeah, if you get the opportunity this week, something sparks your interest, just do it. Don't think about it. And we'd love to hear about it. So
sounds great.
Join us next time on The Art of Hobbiness.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to The Art of Hobbiness. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And for more Erin and Tam fun, be sure to follow us on all socials for behind the scenes footage on our journey to find hobbiness.